The casualties are piling up. The absolute Green Lantern cosmic war just reached a terrifying point of no return. In issue number 16, Al Ewing drops us right into a meat grinder. Simon Baz falls, Hal Jordan takes a devastating hit, and a robotic Sinestro has officially entered the battlefield. But it is that massive final page twist with Joe Mullein awakening a brand new fan favorite lantern on the side of evil that changes everything. The cosmic hierarchy just shattered. Let's discuss the fallout. Issue 16 opens up basically like all the others. We've got the four sections, but this time the voice of Oa is talking to Agent Double, John Double, telling him to cross over to the inside of the light. Inside everything, there is something bigger. And he is snapped out of his little vision, what if you want to call it that, by his assistant wondering if he was ever planning on leaving. And we kind of see him, he's looking at the pictures of the Green Lantern that was in Evergreen, and then he decides to head to his car to go home. Luckily, hopefully his poor assistant gets to go home too. Rude as. Well, he doesn't fully make it to his car before he's caught by Simon and wants to have a little talk about good old Hector Hammond. And it's kind of interesting to have him in both this and the Absolute Green Arrow at the same time, where both groups are kind of dealing with the fallout of Hector Hammond. And he's making friends wherever he goes, man. Simon decides they're going to play a little game. He asks questions to John, and if he doesn't give an answer he likes, he'll strangle him. He wants to know why he passed information to Hammond about what they were doing. Obviously, we see Simon's still a little pissed about Carrie, and he continues to press John. John, I guess he's not paying attention to what John's doing because he picks up kind of his broken side mirror, and he holds it up, and at the same time, he removes Simon's mask. And if you remember back many issues ago, we discussed that having been cursed by Dr. Silence, if he sees his own face, he will cease to exist. Well, guess what happened? Bye, Simon. That is one down, but John knows he was not alone. And the other likely partner of his is Cam. And he's trying to tell her that he didn't give them up to Hammond. And he tells Cam to come out, right? He won't hurt her. Which is funny because she kind of used the old trick of throwing a distraction, which once John hears, he just starts unloading and lighting up the area and kind of makes it seem like he may not have been truthful about the whole "I won't hurt you" thing. But he realizes the mistake he made. However, luckily for him, it isn't one he will have to live with for long, as that mistake in his mind is quickly replaced with a bullet. We then finally get back to Joe and Ray, damn Tomars, and they continue on about the use of the townspeople as ammo against Mogo. However, the conversation is a bit more intense now as Mogo is actually here now and getting ready to fire on the Green Lantern. And if the Green Lantern is destroyed, the people die anyways. And the message is sent out from Mogo that nothing escapes. Not the Green Lantern, not the Tomars, and not even Earth or Ran. And as it looks like Mogo is going to make his move, we see how that he's turning his sapphire color. I say sapphire, star sapphire. And we hear, "I'll be right behind you." However, that's kind of a voiceover. That's not somebody there saying that. Because as we do a little flashback to before, that we've already seen this, or at least a different version of this, where Hal and Joe are talking about what Hal said when Joe left Evergreen, that he would be right behind her. Remember that they already, like I said, we've referenced this before in this series, and we kind of get to see more conversation of the group, and they're all kind of making these plans about getting out of Evergreen, but then John points out that Evergreen is more than a place; it's its people. Maybe flawed, but it is people, and they're all in it together. I know, a little kind of sappy, kind of giving out some Barney the Magic Dinosaur fucking vibes, but and we see Hal taking that message to heart as Mogo fires upon the lantern, a bubble appears around it, protecting it from the blast. And I mean, quite literally, it looks like a gum, like you blow a bubble with gum. But we kind of now at least know some of Hal's powers, sort of. I mean, protection bubbles are kind of a lantern staple, so maybe who knows? The Black Hands, however, are confused. They didn't know that it's possible to do this, but Hal tells them there's something bigger than Mogo out there, which doesn't sit very well with them as Salah. I don't know how you say that guy's name. You know how I'm with pronouncing names. Don't judge me. He kind of like with his claw hand there rips straight through Hal's heart. And as it kind of looks like Hal is going to pass on to the next world, our friend Carrie is there as a kind of a guy to tell him that he is right. There is something bigger out there, and he needs to bring some information back to Joe. It is about the big black zero. Bad idea number zero. And if you remember, if we're talking about something bigger than the Black Hand, bigger than Mogo, there can really only be one thing that comes to mind that would be classified as bad idea, right? And that is the creator of this universe, Darkseid. Back in the real world, if that's what you want to call it, at this point, Guy is keeping Hal alive while also kind of punishing the Black Hand that did this to him. But even Katma is beginning to question the logic here. Maybe Mogo isn't everything as she thought, right? Because she thought Rand would have been a good base of operations. But Mogo was ready to sacrifice it and all of them in an instant. Just then, Robo Sinestro, the other gold lantern there, appears and tells Katma that there is a black zero at the heart of all things and there is no escape. Their entire purpose was to die in service of Mogo. We then kind of shift back to Joe and I was calling him Tomar. It just sounds weird to say Ray, but he is because they are Tomars. So they're still arguing, but Joe may have come to a breakthrough conclusion. Again, they are Tomars. All of the power of the Abensur with none of the rules. Joe realized that they have the power to turn people trapped inside the lantern from ammunition into weapons themselves. Just like how Abensur was giving others their powers, they can do the same. And as Joe reaches out to touch one of the people to give them their power, she sort of, I guess, kind of recognizes her, and it's Jessica Cruz, yet another Green Lantern in the normal universe. However, this one may not work out as Joe thinks it's going to. They're not all in this together, and no one was ever there for Jessica, which kind of leads to us seeing it looks like it's a large Jessica Cruz. It could just be how they're shooting it and making it look like, I say shooting it, drawing it really. It's like it's a camera. How they're making it look to us. But regardless, she definitely has the crazy eyes. And it seems like she might just be siding with Mogo on this particular issue, which I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, guys. So that sums it up for Absolute Green Lantern issue number 16. I like that we're kind of like right now in this battle with what's going to happen with Mogo and the Black Stars and Black Hand, everything like that. We're kind of seeing some more powers come out, but now are we going to have Green Lanterns that are evil and against one another? Like, what is going to happen here? Because the powers right now are all over the place, and I kind of like the switch up, right? Instead of having just the dedicated cores that we've always seen that are either a good one or like normally like the red's more of the rage and the Black Hands and everything like that. I kind of like that right now we've kind of got, obviously we're gonna have Jessica Cruz as a Green Lantern, but then we've got Joe also. We've got Guy as a Red Lantern, but then we've got Tomar Ray as a red, but they're kind of good and bad ish, if you want to call it that. And then, of course, we have John as a Gold Lantern, and we've got Sinestro as one, too. So we've kind of got one on each side. So there is some balance to the force here. So I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about it? Do you just think it's all an entangled mess? Is it too confusing? Or is it just not that interesting to you? I'd be curious to know your thoughts. And while you're leaving your thoughts, you might as well go ahead and leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and having the bell notifications clicked so you get alerted every time we release new videos, both here in the comic world and everything we're doing on the DC news side. And guys, that is going to do it for me on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, I'll see you then.